did this crazy thing. I sent in a motion in support of Michael Flynn on March 6th, 2020. Now, you know, with the machinations going on in Texas and their completely illegal tampering with mail, which, by the way, postal mail fraud is considered a predicate crime in any sort of RICO uh, investigation or prosecution. But I sent in a motion, which I won't go into detail right now, for March 6th, and I followed up with phone calls with both the clerk of the judge of concern as well as the bailiff of the court, apprising them that this was on its way. And I never received any indication anybody got it, but now something changed about the case, and all of these other people are chomping at the bit to say something and to get on the record. Why would I say something about that? Michael Flynn was alleged to have been a proprietor of an enterprise called Brainwaves. My understanding is that Brainwaves provided a certain kind of lie detector test that I believe used some form of radioencephalography as well as some other kind of monitoring of biorhythms in the processes of trying to determine whether or not the ways that people were expressing themselves or their understanding of a situation could be identified as some form of lie detector test type of scenario. It was marketed as a sort of effort to try to screen people for employment. Now, remember what Michael Flynn did in Afghanistan. And somehow this was supposed to be his small business. And there was also the fact that he was alleged to have been connected to a capital company called Conversion Capital. Now, if you're talking about the Forex market, or if you're talking about other things that have to do with international trade, the concept of conversion of one kind of currency, especially if you're talking about high level deals that involve capital investments with lots of intangibles associated with those assets that may be going between different contexts, then the concept of conversion may be the kind of thing that somebody with a lot of different kinds of experience going around the world and getting to know people and working with different processes might have an edge in terms of being able to assist with. That's just a projection, or is it? Because on September 1st of 2017, the state of Texas implemented changes to laws that it had changed during the course of 2017 specific to licensing for polygraph examiners. As a matter of fact, in the actual the business office in Austin, in the first 2 weeks of September, they listed as you went in the specific codes that had changed when it came to business licensing. And while they were not in the same bill, there were civilian job functions that had had licenses changed. And then there was a separate part where various specializations within the United States military had also been changed in terms of the way when one would qualify for a business license or for engagement with being able to perform that outside of a military context, presumably outside of a military context, in the business community in Texas. And there was a nice manner in which the military operational specializations correlated with the licensing for those civilian job functions. What do you think a polygraph examiner, or as they put it, military interrogator in the United States Marine Corps translates into in the civilian world? I believe it was behavioral analyst. And when you combine that with the fact they also had changes to licensing and procedures connected to pharmacists, then after what I've experienced, I believe I have a personal vested interest in the misinformation and misrepresentations of the facts connected to Michael Flynn's case. It's also worth noting there's a representative in the Texas legislature named Flynn who made two very, very substantial bills in his name in the last session that had to do with changes to the Texas pension system. And these were passed at the same time that Texas passed numerous laws confidentializing certain processes as well as certain information that was previously considered public information. So I thought that I might have a material interest in informing the court that the challenges to the veracity of those alleged to be legal representatives might have some substantiation, especially if it can be proven that Michael Flynn's case is intentionally being orchestrated or manipulated to provide a node around which other litigious efforts can be derivated for kickbacks to local pension schemes. He was a field commander, a theater commander in Afghanistan. And that's what you want kicked back to your local pension system? Absolutely. That is what Texas wanted kicked back to its local pension system. I'm in Dallas. I'm not allowed to be acknowledged as a lawyer, and I'm not allowed to get a lawyer. But Michael Flynn, who's not in Texas, as far as I know, doesn't come from Texas, is able to get a lawyer from Dallas.